Get in focus. Click the links for Odyssey, Bit Chute. Join the Telegram. Yeah, it requires a burner number to get on there. You can use Google Voice or find burners, numbers or phones online. It's kind of where all the news is happening. Is going to be on Telegram. That's Telegram and Odyssey, and you're going to need a burner phone for that. So click the links, Sports Channel, and Coffee, the various other links. So Buzz Lightyear, Disney really needs Jesus, and I don't think they are going to find him. They have been taking the mask off lately. Really just taking the mask off and taking off that flesh suit and showing some demon underneath. If you show kids BLT stuff, an increased percentage of them will be BLT. That might not be politically correct to say, but it's reality. You can't run from reality. You're going to have the consequences of running from reality. Kids are natural mimics. They will do whatever gets them attention. They can read the writing on the wall. They know what the teacher is looking for. If the teacher comes out and it describes their new pronouns or something, it's like the kids know it, that this is something that will get them attention. And I'm trying to think back to when I was a kid and like what the nuns would have said if you came out with something as ridiculous as that. It would have sent you to the principal's office and then sent you home, or probably slapped you around. It's the kids know there's not going to be any pushback. If a little fifth grader or whatever kid in grammar school or high school comes out as some kind of, furry otherkin, non-pronounish, whatever they do now, they're not gonna. Nobody's gonna say, "Are you sure?" And like, are you just jumping on a bandwagon? And the kid gives a little thought and goes, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. I am jumping on the bandwagon. This is just monkey see, monkey do." They're not gonna get any of that because the teacher is woke. The teacher wants this. They want this all the way. Kids are mimic. They will do whatever they see other people doing. If you made movies about like all the kids were suddenly working on motorcycles in the background, like it was a thing. Like you'd start with 50cc dirt bikes, and they were always in the background. It was always like a subplot of kids were wrenching on their motorcycles in the background, swapping out cams and carburetors, or adding turbos and custom welding exhausts and whatever they do to motorcycles to make them go. Guess what you'd see kids doing? Kids suddenly, the sales of 50cc motorbikes would just bloom for young kids, and they would get into that motorbike culture. Film is propaganda. It can be a source of good, which is tribal and national. It's what stories have been founded on for 1,000+ years. That concept of family, extended family, tribe, nation. Or it can be a force for globalist propaganda. Cut off your blood tribe, be a rootless debt slave. Disney stopped being Disney at least 20 years ago. On like 20 years ago, I wasn't following. Never have I been following Disney. But I was aware of Disney in the 90s, and it was a different Disney in the 90s. It was a different environment, and I'm guessing somewhere 20 years ago it changed. They started swapping out the characters. Modern Disney is, and I use Disney loosely. It's not just Disney. I mean Disney 4, inclusive of all these other types of shows. It's unwatchable today. You may as well have Klaus Schwab writing these globalist plot lines. The organic BLT community, I don't know. You'd have to tell me if you're in that community. Is it like 1%? And I mean organic, and you know what I'm talking about. Nowadays, it's like 20%. And of course it's going to grow. Do you really believe that is a real phenomenon? Humans are monkey see, monkey do. If they showed motorbikes, people would start buying motorbikes. They'd start riding them. They'd start wrenching on them. Dirt bikes would be like a big thing. You could make something a thing just by showing it on a screen in a cool manner. People are always like, you got somebody's, hey, we're going to put disc brakes on this old motorbike and make it whatever. It's like, you get what I'm saying? It's like suddenly you would see increased sales of motorbikes. It's just that easy. Buzz Lightyear is, I think it's over 20 years old. I think it goes back all the way to the 90s. It was what it was. It was Buzz Lightyear. If you change it, then it's no longer Buzz Lightyear. It's something else. But it made its name based on what it organically was back in the 90s. Tim Allen, I think he was the voice of Buzz Lightyear. It's odd they don't have him anymore. I don't know who does the voice now. Oh, Chris Evans? Did he swap it out? It's like, yeah, Tim Allen he's not far left enough. Yeah, but I mean, he's the character. He's a very distinct voice. Chris Evans he's a great voice actor for sure, but like Tim Allen is Tim Allen. Chris Evans is no Tim Allen. So you've got an expectation of something in the spirit of the original show, but what you get instead is you get F'd in the A, because Disney is a bunch of subverters of expectations. I love that. Who's that? Roundhead and Big Nose were talking about subverting expectations. Like, yeah, you guys, yeah, people expect the original. Now everything is POC and BLT. That's not what the show is. It's something new. Oh, no, different things are the same thing. Not in this universe. That's not how the world works. Why don't you just create something new that starts? If you want to put POC, BLT in things, start something fresh. You've got a lot of creative people at Disney, and what's the genre loosely is some toy superhero, something. You've got a lot of creative people. If you want to put this kind of nonsense in stories, I can't help but think it's not too difficult to focus, not too difficult to do. Here's the thing. If they create something new right off the bat, BLT, POC, they know nobody's going to watch it. They have to mislead you because they're deeply evil people. Yeah, we subverted expectations. Yeah, Roundhead. People were expecting something good. And what was it? The middle was Roundhead did the middle one, and you gave them something. I can't imagine. I didn't see it in the theater. What would it be like to see that in the theater? To see Star Wars in the theater and walk out of there like, oh my God, they just killed Star Wars. Like that round-headed guy. I don't remember his name. Not Abrams, the other guy. I can't remember his name. It's like, what were you thinking that you would do this to Star Wars? I'm subverting that. Yeah. Subverting expectations. It's like covering a song. You only cover a song if you think you can improve it or bring something fresh to it, or do like punk bands would cover songs and do punk versions of songs. And, they would speed up the tempo and it'd be awesome. Or GNR would cover songs and they would do like a very elaborate version of the song and it would be kick-ass. You guys are like covering songs and you're just making it shitty. Oh, yeah, but we subverted expectations. Yeah, but you subverted them downwards. You made something that people don't like. And I'm not just saying that. That's not subjective. It's objective because the sales are decreasing. Like, what was the rewatchability of 2015 Star Wars? Not so good. How are the toy sales? Not so good. So how are the toy sales of this new Buzz Lightyear going to be? Again, probably absolute crap. When you hear the name Buzz Lightyear, you expect a certain something, the original. But surprise, you got a substitute, and it absolutely sucks. Hold up. You aren't istophobic because we swapped out the originals, are you? Because if you are, we'll dox you. We'll get you fired, evicted. Your bank will cancel you. And as the Mary Sue comment section says, and it's archived, I just archived it this morning, they will kill you. You can go to my Gab. I posted it on Gab. It's in the Mary Sue comment section. Did they take it down? I don't know. I'll put the link in Telegram if you're curious. At some point, you have to stop acquiescing for this and go to these school board meetings, city council meetings, in the audience and run for those positions and speak out actively against this kind of filthy degeneracy on social media. They're moving in one direction. Only moving in the other direction can you stop it. Standing still is losing. Disney isn't harmless entertainment. It's dangerous globalist propaganda. It's brainwashing your kids, and it's kind of a hard line in the sand. If you show this to your kids, it's going to brainwash them. If you show kids that motorcycle stuff, they're going to ride bikes. If you show them a lot of BLT stuff, you're going to have I'm trying to think, what was the BLT rate was it 2022? 40 years ago, 1982. I don't know. Probably organically pretty small because you didn't see a ton of it in shows in 1982. What is it now? 92, it was still pretty low. 2002, it was still pretty low. 2012, it probably started creeping up. And by 2022, all of a sudden you see the exponential part of the graph. It's like well, I mean, it can only go to 100%, but still, you see it's like it going from like, a couple of a percent to maybe 5% to now it's like over 20% people identify. And the thing is, a lot of it is nonsense. It's not like, so you member of the BLT community. For some reason, I can't say that acronym. It must be the kind of dyslexia in me. It's like, oh, it's not sexual preference so much because that's kind of easy, gay, straight, or both. It's like what you identify as. And it's like, oh, well, like back when, at one time, gays were like, they were legitimately, they did have issues to, advocate for themselves, that kind of thing. And it's like, to come out of the closet in the 60s and 70s would have been something. Nowadays you're like, oh, I'm non-binary. Oh, it's just as stunning and brave as Elton John in the 70s and 80s. It's like, yeah, it's the exact same thing as people who are, marching through New York and San Francisco. Oh, just, yeah, I'm non-binary. It's the exact same thing. It kind of feels like you're jumping on coattails a little bit. I think Dave Chappelle went into this a little bit. He's talking about people essentially jumping on coattails. It's like, you really, specifically, he's talking about black people in the BLT community, trying to get some of that oppressed marginalization. It's like, yeah, the BLT community totally did. They just jumped on that and kind of subsumed it, if that's a word, for themselves, or maybe invaginated is a better word. I don't know. And it's like, oh, the struggle kind of shifted from focused on the black community specifically, which, to be fair, has got legitimate issues and things to advocate for, to all of a sudden it just shifted like to the BLT community. So now, like, these are the two issues you see in pop culture is BLT on one side and POC, specifically usually black POC on the other side. And it's like James Chappelle's pointed out that he's pointing it out, but it's also like he doesn't really have the winning argument here. Like, kind of, it's sour grapes. It's like, if you set the stage for everyone to identify as marginalized and oppressed, it's like, well, everyone's going to identify as marginalized and oppressed because it's hard to quantify because it's all subjective feelings. If you feel this way, you are this way. It's like, the thing is, Chappelle is like half right and half wrong, and he said some things that are objectively stupid in his stand-up that I can't repeat on YouTube. But how do you quantify it? How do I say this? Okay, I say it this way. Once you set the rules at the table for that male can be female, then there are no rules. Anything goes. It's like you violated causality. You're going faster than the speed of light. You're traveling backwards in time. The coffee mug is going from shards on the floor. It's traveling backwards in time to sitting on the coffee table perfectly formed. Is that theoretically possible? Maybe. They say anything that can happen will happen, but I'm not sure there's ever a universe in which that could happen. Anyway, once you take the rules off the table, male is female. That means X is Y. 2 plus 2 can equal whatever you want it to equal. A variable can equal a constant. It's like, well, that's not a causal universe. You've taken, like, humans got to where we are by following these rules of science.